In the heart of a frozen wasteland, where howling blizzards swallow hope and every step could be your last, one human dared the impossible. Against nature's fury and alien indifference, they risked everything, not for glory, but to save a fragile life. An alien child, lost and alone, clinging to survival in a world that wanted to freeze them out. This is the story of courage beyond worlds, of a fierce heart that refused to give up. Because sometimes, humanity's greatest strength is its compassion. The planet was a frozen graveyard. Endless white stretched in every direction, broken only by jagged ice formations that glittered like shards of broken glass under a weak, pale sun. The wind roared with a fury that could slice through steel, and the temperature dipped far below anything even the hardiest humans were built to endure. This world was not meant for life, and yet, life had found a way. Fragile, hidden, desperate. Major Caleb Rourke had never believed in luck. He believed in preparation, training, and sheer stubborn will. But as he trudged through knee-deep snow, the biting cold seeping through even his advanced thermal suit, he wondered if luck had anything to do with survival at all. The mission was clear: recover any alien survivors from the downed research vessel that had crashed days ago somewhere in this icy wasteland. The Galactic Coalition had insisted this was a humanitarian mission. Officially, Caleb was there to secure sensitive technology and ensure no hostile forces could get their hands on alien artifacts. But deep down, he knew it was more than that. It was about proving humanity's commitment, that when others abandoned, humans fought harder, cared deeper. The storm had come on suddenly, as if the planet itself resented the intrusion. The wind screamed around Caleb, and the snow fell so thick he could barely see a few feet ahead. The navigation drone beeped warnings of low visibility, but he kept pushing forward. The life signs detected earlier were faint now, almost gone. His breath came out in white clouds, each inhale burning his lungs. His fingers ached inside the gloves. And then, just when he thought the storm might swallow him whole, he spotted movement ahead, a small shape, barely visible, curled against the cold. Caleb's heart hammered. He sprinted the last few meters and fell to his knees beside the figure. It was an alien child. No taller than 4 feet, with skin that shimmered faintly in the dim light, like crushed opal, and large luminous eyes that flickered open and closed weakly. The child's breath was shallow, the tiny chest rising and falling with immense effort. Caleb ripped off his helmet and pressed his gloved hand to the child's forehead. It was burning cold, dangerously so. The child was slipping fast. "We're getting you out of here," Caleb whispered fiercely, ignoring the storm's rage. "Hold on, kid. I'm not leaving you behind." The alien child stirred, eyes fluttering open. There was confusion, fear, but something else, a spark of hope. Caleb saw it clearly, and it was that fragile glimmer that fueled his determination. He radioed the command base, voice barely audible over the howling wind. "This is Rourke. I found a survivor, a child. Condition critical. Request immediate evac." Static hissed in reply. "Negative, Rourke. Storm intensifying. No extraction possible for at least 24 hours." Caleb clenched his jaw. The storm had them trapped. He wrapped the child in his thermal blanket, and slung the small figure across his shoulders. Every step was agony, his legs burning, the cold trying to freeze him from the inside out. But giving up was not an option. Hours passed like this, Caleb pushing through exhaustion and the unforgiving blizzard. The child's breathing grew steadier, the warmth from Caleb's body slowly seeping into fragile limbs. For the first time since the crash, the child looked safe. But safety was an illusion here. As the night fell, darkness swallowing the white wasteland whole, Caleb set up a makeshift shelter inside a shallow ice cave he'd spotted earlier. He laid the child down gently on a thick layer of thermal blankets and removed his helmet again, speaking softly. "What's your name, little one?" he asked. The child's eyes flickered, and then a strange musical sound escaped, a language Caleb didn't understand. But in that moment, words didn't matter. The tone was fragile, almost pleading. Caleb gave a tired smile. "I'm Caleb. You're safe now. I'll get you home." The wind outside moaned like a living creature, but inside the cave, there was a fragile bubble of warmth, hope carved out from ice and despair. Suddenly, a faint noise echoed from deeper within the cave. Caleb stiffened. His hand instinctively went to the sidearm strapped to his hip. But what came next was a series of soft, deliberate sounds, almost a cry. Caleb stood and shone his flashlight deeper into the cave, heart pounding. A small cluster of shapes moved, more alien forms, hiding, injured. The crash had claimed many, but some had survived. Caleb's mind raced. Could he save them all? Could he endure the storm long enough to bring help? As he knelt beside the nearest figure, a wounded alien adult, he realized this mission was no longer just about recovering technology or intelligence. It was about saving lives, showing the universe what humanity truly meant. Suddenly, the child stirred, reaching a tiny hand toward Caleb's face. The touch was electric, a pulse of warmth in the frozen silence. In that instant, Caleb felt a fierce fire ignite inside, not just to survive the blizzard, but to protect this fragile life at all costs. To prove that even in the harshest, coldest worlds, a human heart could burn fiercely enough to thaw the deepest ice. And so, the real journey began. The storm raged on like an unforgiving beast, howling through the barren ice plains, but inside the fragile cave, Caleb's resolve burned brighter than ever. The alien child, whom he had come to call Lyra, after hearing a soft, melodic whisper she repeated during the night, lay curled in the warmth of his makeshift shelter. The small cluster of survivors Caleb had found moments ago, injured adults of Lyra's species, rested uneasily nearby. Every face told a story of loss, fear, and hope. Caleb sat cross-legged beside Lyra, monitoring her shallow breath, willing her strength to return. His fingers traced a careful path along the faint shimmer of her skin, opalescent and fragile, like glass kissed by light. He remembered what the coalition medics had said before the mission. This species was incredibly delicate, their biology unlike anything humans had encountered. The cold wasn't just an enemy of survival, it was a weapon against them. But Caleb was human. And humans were known for something else: grit. Outside, the blizzard showed no mercy. The ice groaned under the weight of the storm, and the drone that once hovered above, mapping the crash site, had long since lost signal. The world had shrunk to this tiny sanctuary carved in frost and stone, a small beacon of life in an endless death zone. Caleb's comm unit crackled unexpectedly. He scrambled to answer, hope flaring. "Rourke, this is command," the voice came through, static-laced but clear. "The storm is dying down. We're dispatching a rescue squad. Hold tight." "Understood," Caleb replied, relief flooding his voice. "I've found survivors, a child and several adults. Condition critical." "Copy that. Extraction ETA 2 hours." 2 hours. Caleb exhaled. 2 hours to keep Lyra alive. The hours crawled forward like glaciers. Caleb used every bit of his training and knowledge to stabilize the injured aliens, administering painkillers adapted from his medical kit, carefully adjusting their positions to conserve heat. Lyra's breathing grew steadier, but her eyes remained closed, her small body trembling. He didn't allow himself to think about what would happen if they didn't make it. Then, something miraculous happened. Lyra's eyes fluttered open again, but this time, she gazed directly at Caleb with clarity and something more: trust. Caleb smiled, feeling a warmth blossom inside him that had nothing to do with the cave's thin protection. "Lyra," he said softly, "we're almost out of here." Suddenly, the cave trembled. A low, rumbling crack echoed through the ice walls. Caleb's heart leapt. The storm outside had triggered an icequake, a common but deadly hazard on this frozen world. The shelter could collapse at any moment. He grabbed Lyra carefully, checking the other survivors. "We have to move. Now," he barked. Supporting the injured adults as best he could, Caleb led the group out into the blizzard's teeth once again. The cold slammed into them like a tidal wave, but Caleb's fierce heart didn't waver. He adjusted his suit settings to maximum thermal output, pushing every system to keep them alive. Visibility was near zero. Caleb relied on the small beacon he had fixed to his wrist, a GPS tracker designed for rescue operations. Step by agonizing step, he fought forward. The alien adults murmured in their strange tongue, their voices a mix of pain and encouragement. Lyra clung to Caleb's neck, whispering something Caleb couldn't understand but felt in his bones, a word that meant thank you or hope. Suddenly, a shadow appeared ahead in the whiteout. Caleb's heart jumped. A hover transport, cutting through the storm like a beacon of salvation. The rescue team was here. He signaled frantically, waving his arm. "Over here. Over here." Caleb shouted against the howl of the wind. The transport's hatch opened, and 2 medics stepped out, wrapped in thick suits and armed with advanced medical devices. They moved quickly to assist, loading the injured aliens with practiced efficiency. Caleb handed Lyra into the arms of one medic, feeling a strange ache as the tiny body was lifted away from his protective hold. "Stay with her," he said. "She's strong. Don't give up." The medic nodded, determination shining through their visor. As Caleb prepared to board the hovercraft, he glanced back at the frozen world that had tested him beyond measure. The blizzard still howled, but now it was a defeated roar, the fury of nature no match for the fierce heart of a human. Weeks later, Caleb sat inside the Coalition's medical facility aboard the orbiting command station. The warmth and sterile light were a shock after the frozen nightmare, but so was the sight before him. Lyra was awake. The alien child had survived, thriving under advanced care, slowly regaining strength. Her shimmering skin had lost some of its fragile sheen, replaced with a stronger glow. Her large eyes regarded Caleb with something close to recognition, a bond formed in the heart of the blizzard. Scientists and medics buzzed around, fascinated by her unique biology, but Caleb only saw the child he had sworn to protect. "You saved her," the lead medic said, nodding at Caleb. "Against all odds." Caleb shrugged, a faint smile on his lips. "She saved me just as much." Lyra reached out, her small hand resting on Caleb's. In that moment, the galaxy seemed less cold, less vast, less indifferent. Because humanity's fiercest heart wasn't just in their courage or technology. It was in their compassion. Their refusal to turn away. And in a universe filled with endless darkness, that fierce heart was the brightest light of all.